Hello everybody. So in this video I'll be taking a look at the 2026 Senate election as of January 2025. In this video I'm going to assume it's a pretty neutral environment, not like Trump does spectacular, but it's not like he does super awful in the environment. This is not containing a red or a blue wave here. This is more of just a neutral environment here, but we won't really know which direction the country is going to end up going until probably closer to this election. It's still way too early to tell. We can go ahead and start off by filling out the safe Democrat seats here. Oregon, that will be safe. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Delaware, those seats will be safe. And Illinois will be safe here. And Colorado, I know it went likely blue in 2020, but the Democrat just unseated a Republican incumbent there, so I think this year in 2026 it'll be safe blue by about 12 points is probably how much the incumbent there is going to win. And now we can go to the safe Republican states here. The safe Republican ones will be Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, South Carolina, and Florida will be safe. And also Texas is looking to be safe. Whether John Cornyn the nominee or not, his seat is probably going to still be safe. As of this video, I'm going to assume John Cornyn remains the nominee here. This state moved hard towards the right in 2024, and I expect that to hold pretty firmly. Though Cornyn might lose some in the Rio Grande Valley, I think in the Dallas suburbs area, he would outperform Trump there a little bit, so I have Cornyn winning by about 11 points in this video. And the state of Iowa, this state has just shifted towards the right. I do expect that one to be a safe Republican seat there. And Alaska, this one as of now I'm going to say is safe Republican. Many times people think that this state is competitive. In most cases it's safe Republican, except if Mary Patola were to run here. Things might get more competitive, but as of now, I'm going to have this one safe Republican until we get more information about it. And now we'll go to likely states. We'll start off with likely Democrat. This will be Virginia. In this state here, we had the incumbent here, Mark Warner. He was able to win by about 12.5 points, or just 12.2 points, which outperformed Biden slightly in this state. And Virginia kind of hit its Democrat peak here in 2020, and in 2022, 2024 it swung more towards the right. Not saying it can't get bluer, but in 2020 it kind of hit a little peak there. In 2024 it shifted a little bit towards the right, and I expect in 2026 Mark Warner will hold on fairly easily. If Glenn Youngkin were to run, that might make the race slightly more competitive, but either way, I think Warner will be able to hold on in Virginia. Right now, I'll have him winning by about 9 percentage points. And also, looking at the state of New Jersey, this one's going to be likely Democratic. In 2020 in this state, the incumbent here, Cory Booker, was he an incumbent? He held on by about 16.5 points here. But as you can see in this state, the total of the House of Representatives, the presidential level, and the Senate level in 2024 has shifted hard towards the right. So I don't expect him to win by 16.5 points next time. I actually expect this to get closer. It'll probably be about 8 points for Booker here in the state of New Jersey. And now we'll go to the likely Republican states. This state, Ohio, I'm going to put this one in the likely Republican here. The reason for that is because Democrats actually have some decent candidates they could run here in Ohio. If I can pull it up here. Because J.D. Vance was elected here in 2022. He won by a likely Republican margin. They ran Tim Ryan here. He made the race slightly more competitive. And Democrats, they could run Tim Ryan again. They could even run Sherrod Brown again, which can make it slightly more competitive. But in 2024, Bernie Moreno won by almost 4 points, which is lean red. But this time around, if Brown were to run, it will still be likely Republican, probably about 7 points, because he's not an incumbent this time around. So whoever the Republican nominee is, we don't know yet. As of now, I'm going to put it likely Republican, about 7 points. There's one more likely Republican state here. This will be the state of Maine. This one is Susan Collins' seat here in Maine. You can look at it here. She normally wins by huge margins. In 2020, all the polls, data looked like she was going to go down, but she still hung on by 8.5 percentage points here. I expect her to still hold on this time around, and I doubt she will get primaried in the Republican primary here, and I'm not seeing other options here at the moment that could try to take her down in the Republican area. But Maine right now, I still think Collins will probably win by about 9 percentage points. It could go safe Republican, but it could also go lean or tilt. I doubt she would lose if she were the nominee, but for instance, if Susan Collins got primaried, this race would flip blue just about any chance there. So for now, I'll put it likely Republican. Now we can go to the lean states. We're going to start off with New Mexico. This one is lean Democratic. In 2020, this one actually was fairly close compared to the presidential level because Biden won this state by 10.8 percentage points. But in 2020, in New Mexico, the Democrat only won by about 6 percentage points. This race was slightly closer than the presidential level here, so if this trend continues here, we could actually see this go under 5 percentage points because in 2024 this state actually trended towards the right a decent amount, so we could see the incumbent here, Ben Ray Lujan, he will win his seat by about 4.5 percentage points as of now. And Minnesota, that one's also lean Democratic. This is also a state where the senator underperformed Joe Biden here. As we can see, Tina Smith won by right over 5 percentage points, while Biden carried the state by about 7 percentage points. So this time around, without a third party, that might could help things out. And really depends on the Republican candidate also. If they run Royce White again, then this seat will go likely or even safe blue. But for now, I'm assuming they run a decent Republican and then the incumbent stays. So Tina Smith will end up winning here by about 4.5 percentage points, right under that 5% mark there. The next state is New Hampshire. That one is also lean Democratic. This is one in 2020. It was safe blue. That was because this Bryant Corky Messner was not a very good candidate for the state to be electable here. Because as we could see with the same Democrat incumbent, 2014, 2008, it was lean blue here, and that's typically how the state is. So I expect in 2026 this will be about lean Democratic here. Because in 2024 the state actually was closer than I expected it to. I thought it would be likely blue, but it was actually lean blue. I expect Shaheen to win this seat by about 4 percentage points as of now. And now we'll go to the lean Republican. We'll go with the state of Georgia here. This one will be lean Republican. And yes, this is if Brian Kemp runs, which is looking very likely that Brian Kemp will be the Republican nominee. because of how favorable he is as a governor here. And this state is overall a little bit red leaning, even though the Atlanta area is trending towards the left. The rural areas have trended towards the right to keep the state leaning towards the right. So if they're able to run Brian Kemp here, which it looks like he's most likely going to be the nominee, this would be lean Republican. But for instance, if it was one of these other candidates, it would probably go tilt blue. But as of now, I'm assuming Kemp is going to run, so Kemp will probably win this seat by about 3 percentage points because he outperforms Trump's margins typically, even though they're not on the same ballot. Brian Kemp is well more liked in the state than Donald Trump, so he will do well in the Atlanta area, better than Trump there, so he will do pretty well there against Jon Ossoff. And now we'll go to the tilt states. We'll start off with the state of Michigan. This state here, Gary Peters, he also underperformed Joe Biden here. But John James, they ran him in 2020. He's a pretty good candidate here. It really depends who they run in 2026. It's looking like Mike Rogers is going to run for governor there, so we're not going to have him run on the Senate level, but it really just depends who they run here. They can run a really good Republican here. It could flip red. If they run a terrible Republican, Peters will hold on easily. But as of now, I'm just going to put it tilt blue. I think Peters will hold on, but very narrowly. I think he will win by probably 1 percentage point as of now. Probably slightly closer than in 2020 because the state was bluer in 2020 than 2024. But again, that also depends on the national environment. If the whole environment shifts toward the left, there's a blue wave, then Gary Peters will probably win by a lean blue margin. But if for some reason the national environment keeps shifting towards the right, then this one could flip red. So for now, I'm putting it at 1 percentage point for Peters. And final state here, probably one of the most competitive ones this 2026 cycle, North Carolina. Now, this state is competitive for a couple of reasons. First of all, Thom Tillis, he's looking to be the Republican nominee here, and the Republican Party actually censored him for his bipartisan view on gay rights and gun control. So just because of that, this could really decrease Republican turnout in this state. Really just depends on the Democrat nominee at this point. So what we have here, it could be Willie Nickel, it could be Roy Cooper, or Jeff Jackson. Either of those could possibly be the Democrat nominee for this seat. And for the Republican nominee, it's looking like Thom Tillis is likely going to win. He's already have many endorsements here, even from Ted Budd and many of these other senators. So many of the endorsements are going for Tillis's way. So it'll be kind of hard to primary him. But also, if Roy Cooper were to run, I would have this blue. Willie Nickel ran, it would probably stay red. As of now, I'm going to assume Roy Cooper gets that nomination. If he decides to run, then he will be the primary winner. And then this would lead this to be a tilt blue seat here because Republicans will not turn out as high for Thom Tillis as some other candidates, and Democrats will have high turnout to vote for Roy Cooper here. And there are several Republicans that actually approve of Roy Cooper, so that could help him out here. And it's a Senate level, so he's not going to win by 4 points like he did in 2020. So I expect this to be about 0.5 of a percentage point if this is Roy Cooper against Thom Tillis here. So as a whole, Democrats gain 1 seat and Republicans gain 1 seat here. The Senate remains in control of Republicans, and the Republicans remain having 53 seats while the Democrats have 47 seats. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to comment down below, like and subscribe, and let me know which of these states you agree or disagree with my ratings on. If you think one of these states should flip red or flip blue, just let me know. Or if you think one of the margins in this state, like maybe Ohio, Minnesota, New Mexico, New Hampshire, or Maine, or even Georgia are off, any of those states, or any other states I didn't mention, you just think I don't have a great prediction on, just let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.